Chapter 712, The Loyal Alger. Situated beyond the storm, the Golden Dream had crimson-red moonlight shine through the thin clouds, and onto one of its rooms which was dark and unlit. Danitz was standing beside his bed, motionless. It was as though he had encountered the beyonder powers, resembling Medusa's petrifying gaze. He couldn't help but grind his teeth loudly as his feet indiscernibly trembled. An endless grayish-white fog and an indistinct figure that stood high above everything, saying the awe-inspiring words, "Those who say my name are on my mind," filled his mind. There really was a response. There really was a response. Danitz's lips quivered as he muttered silently to himself. He felt that his calves had gone soft. This was the first time he was receiving a response from a prayer. He was frightened out of his wits. He long knew that the fool was an unknown existence, the figure whom the secret organization backing Jayaman Sparrow believed in, and that he had already made a connection due to chanting his honorific name. If he had any actions of disloyalty or betrayal, he would immediately die a baffling death, but this knowledge stemmed from the knowledge Vice Admiral Iceberg Edwina had taught him. He had never encountered similar situations before, and he had never imagined that an unknown existence would respond to him. When the fog, figure, and voice suddenly appeared before his eyes and ears, he learned for the first time that mighty existences would directly respond to their believers. Yes, deep down, Danitz had unknowingly changed the unknown existence into a mighty existence. Just as he recovered from his shock, he hurriedly took a few deep breaths as he attempted to pace about to relieve the remnant horrors in his heart. However, just as he took a stride with his right foot, he discovered that his legs had gone limp. All he could do was collapse onto his bed before barely managing to turn around to sit up. "It really is a magnificent existence. It's real," Danitz muttered softly as he came to a clear realization that he had involved himself in something serious. Back in the book world, as he had only chanted the honorific name without discovering any abnormalities, all he felt was fear having known of the possible outcomes. Now, he was facing a hidden danger that finally outlined itself, as well a future he couldn't see clearly. How could he not plunge into an inescapable pit of extreme fear? After an unknown period of time, Danitz exhaled as he consoled himself. It might not be a bad thing. At the very least, Jayaman Sparrow is still living, and he's leading quite a good life. Upon having this thought, he forced a smile. "I'm a member of a secret organization, and in the future, a person blessed by a magnificent existence." As his thoughts raced, Danitz decided to pray every morning when he woke up. He believed that no existence would dislike a pious believer. Of course, he would keep in mind the revelation and often pray inwardly. The next morning, Klein woke up normally, having exhausted himself the previous night. He slowly got out of bed and saw that the skies were blue and the ground outside was wet. The entire world seemed to be cleansed by water, making it abnormally fresh. However, the disorderly leaves, broken branches, and all sorts of trash were an indication that it wasn't a peaceful night. After washing up, Klein wore an ordinary Lonese face, ordered a cup of gurney sap, something that originated from Saimim Island, and a rather heavy choice for breakfast, Tidava, to make up for his previous night's expenditure. As he drank the beverage that resembled lemonade with sugar and milk, he ate the fresh, fragrant meal that mixed mutton and fish together, along with the sweet and slightly sour flavor of the fruit. Klein held up the newspapers provided by the inn with great pleasure as he read through the papers, starting with the Sanya Morning Post and News Report. At the end of breakfast, he flipped open Strange Cases, a paper that was rather popular among adventurers, and he saw a striking article headline: "Bloody infighting amidst storm." According to sources, there was intense infighting on Crazy Captain Connors Victor's Single-Eyed Skull. The pirates executed Crazy Captain and killed each other, and reports say that no one survived. All of this evil was concealed by the terrifying storm last night. No one was aware of the conflict until the Single-Eyed Skull was found drifting around Saimim Harbor. The article attached an unclear photo, seemingly captured from the harbor in secret. The photo's Single-Eyed Skull's characteristics stood out at once. It was heavily damaged, and many spots were charred black. Only a single mast remained intact, while the middle mast had a figure with a triangular hat pinned to it. "It's Connor's Victor, he died just like that." Klein's pupils constricted as he seriously contemplated. It can almost be confirmed that there was a demigod on the ship last night. When he saw that crazy captain was targeted, or with Sea King in pursuit, he could only care for himself. Unable to bring Connors with him, he decisively silenced him and destroyed all evidence. Klein, who had plans on continuing his pursuits of Crazy Captain, felt dejected. He realized that although the trail of clues hadn't been completely cut off, there was little of it left. The only matter he was aware of at that moment was that the demigod likely belonged to the Black Emperor pathway. From the intensity of the storm last night, the single-eyed skull was likely sent to the harbor by Sea King John Cotman so as to do any follow-up investigations. I wonder if they will have any additional findings. Yes, I can get Mr. Hanged Man to keep an eye out for it in the Church of Storms. There's no need to inform him since the tarot gathering will be this afternoon. The world can directly commission him to do so. Klein quickly made up his mind before downing the rest of the gurney sap. Then, he returned to his room and planned to retrieve the radio transceiver which he had placed above the gray fog for an extended period of time to contact Arodes. He wanted to see if it had any other clues regarding the bizarro sorcerer potion formula. Having left Oravi's East Sea, which was also where the Aurora Order's demigod had previously targeted him, Klein now dared to use items with the gray fog's aura. However, he knew very well that he couldn't do it frequently, and each use couldn't be for too long. Otherwise, there was the possibility of the true creator detecting it. Due to this reason and his wariness against Arodes, he planned on doing whatever he could do himself, and he would seek advice from others if possible. He only planned on playing the question-and-answer game if he was out of options. In the Blue Avenger, which was docked at the Resistance's private harbor, Alger planned on getting one last resupply before his return to Pasu Island. After instructing his crew which items to purchase, he changed into local clothing, and he went straight for Bayam. After circling a few times, he came to the Cathedral of Waves, planning on reporting to Diocese Bishop Chogo about recent developments. Although he was returning to Pasu Island and reporting his work to the upper echelons of the church, he knew very well who his immediate superior was. He knew that he needed to act appropriately and not make his superior believe that he was skipping the chain of command by directly establishing relations with the upper echelons. Chogo remained hale and hearty as he was very pleased with Alger's proactive reporting. After he heard that, he said with a brisk tone, "There's no need to worry about it. It's just routine reporting. I've already informed His Eminence Cotman that you're devoted to the Lord and are loyal to the Church. You're one of the most trusted captains, and His Eminence Cotman will inform the Council of Cardinals of this." He paused, but without giving Alger any time to speak, he continued, "In addition, there's another mission. Investigate people who are intimately tied to Crazy Captain Connor's Victor. This is a mission directly issued by His Eminence Cotman. You have to take it seriously. Investigate people related to Crazy Captain." Alger was puzzled, but he didn't question it. Instead, he struck his right fist on his left breast and said, "Yes, Your Excellency." The grizzled Chogo nodded and thought for 2 seconds before asking, "Do you know Jayaman Sparrow?" This question sounded like a bolt out of the blue. It left Alger's pupils constricting as he nearly lost control on the spot. Thankfully, he was mentally strong, allowing him to barely maintain his normal state. "I've heard of him. He's been very famous recently. Not only has he hunted Wormtongue Mither and seriously injured Tracy, but he has also boarded Catlia's future." Alger droned on to hide the stirrings in his heart. Chogo made a terse acknowledgement. "You were at sea, so you're a little behind on the news. Jayaman Sparrow killed Kerches at Tosgarter last week and obtained his bounty. That pirate was indeed a devil, a Sequence 5 devil." "Kerches, Agalito's second mate?" Alger asked with very honest emotions. He knew that Kerches was suspected to be a Sequence 5, but he didn't know that he was of the devil pathway. And the fact he was both a Sequence 5 and a devil meant plenty of things. It meant that he was difficult to kill, which meant that Jayaman Sparrow had very likely killed Kerches during a sudden encounter. This meant that Jayaman Sparrow was already at the pinnacle of Sequence 5's. If it wasn't because he was seeking to purchase the Sequence 4 potion formula, I might even suspect that he had become a demigod. Alger thought, feeling perturbed. He was alarmed to realize that in a week, the world had obtained the Sequence 5 Ocean Songster Potion formula and main ingredient, killed a Sequence 5 devil, and might very possibly have a Sequence 6 Notary Potion formula in hand as well. How did he do it? Alger realized that he was feeling a little frightened of the world. Of course, it wasn't something unacceptable for him. This was because he knew that the world was Mr. Fool's blessed representative, and Mr. Fool's blessed clearly wasn't a single person. If one was responsible for the Notary Potion formula, while another was responsible for the Ocean Songster, then it was possible that Jayaman Sparrow had only killed Kerches. Although this similarly left one apprehensive, it didn't seem like a fabricated story. Chogo nodded solemnly. Yes, Agalito's lack of reaction implies something. Focus on gathering information about Jayaman Sparrow. All right, Your Excellency. Alger bowed reverently, having already decided to be perfunctory with the mission as much as he could. Inside the inn, Klein placed the radio transceiver on the table. Before long, rushed clacking sounds were heard.